I think my role in life has been to be a clarifier. I think when I walk into rooms with people, because of positions that I've taken or because of who I am to some degree, which is I'm a person who's had his foot in many different disparate kinds of worlds. There are some people who see that as wonderful. There are other people who see that as threatening. And I think what I wind up doing oftentimes is clarifying for people who they are and what their values are.
And has it helped you clarify who you are in terms of cultural identity?
Absolutely.
So who are you?
Well, I'm a strange mixture of things, and I love what I am. Who I am is Syl Jones, and what that means to me is African American with classical education training, scholarly training as a medical reporter, but also work in the popular culture. Worked as a radio announcer and programmer for many years. I also have done a number of corporate jobs, and so I've seen a lot of the world, and I'm also an artist, and I think of myself, I guess, first and foremost as an artist, and by that I mean as a person who, in the classical sense, tries to bring order out of chaos.
So it's the art that's most important?
It is, and the art is applicable no matter whether you're sitting down and writing or whether you are talking to a person like I'm talking to you. There's a certain art and an art form for everything that's done, now, and what I try to do is master those.
Mm-hmm. Most of the art has been about, when it's directed towards use in a corporate sense and as a consultant around issues of racial diversity and employment, and then as in the writing for the theater itself, the pure theater, the stage, it's also about the African American experience. So you're a person who's passionate about black culture.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think black culture has been ignored for so long by the majority culture that majority culture is in danger of losing out in what is a spectacular cultural motherlode. And I think that what I can do is to help to illuminate that.
So you're the person who stands with a foot in both worlds.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, let me ask you about that extending itself on a very personal level. You've been married twice, both times to white women.
Right.
So in the closest of your interpersonal relationships also is about bridging a difference.
It is and it isn't. It's a very complex thing. You tend to be involved personally with people that you feel a special, deep affinity for that's very hard to characterize. And I don't know why that is. I think one of the things I've learned, though, lately is that cultural images of beauty in my life when I was a child were primarily of white women. You know, I watch Nickelodeon on occasion, I have to admit, and I now see the Donna Reed show in a totally different light than I did before. I also have seen some of those other shows that I grew up with, and I noticed that the icon of beauty was the American white woman, who of course didn't exist, with the pearls and the high heels and all of that. And there is a potential for seduction in that if you're very young, and I don't know if I'm a victim of that or not. I do know that that I try to value all people for what they bring to me, and I don't really look at color when I make selections in terms of interpersonal relations.
So there's no internal conflict at all for you about being married to a white woman?
Oh, no. No, I think the most important thing in terms of being married to anybody or being in any close relationship is what you share in common. And I have to admit that my life has been a mixture of African American cultures, classical cultures, Jewish cultures. I am an African American, and I always will be. But what an African American is today may be somewhat different than what it was 100 years ago.